remind you that you guys are not the test. I am the test. So it doesn't have anything to do with how well you yoga. That's not what this is about. This is how well I respond to what you need and what I teach you. So since we are, we're standing. We'll start standing. I was going to do something different, but we're standing. So, let's see. How's everybody feeling today?
Good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. A little creaky.
Are you? Let's see. Let's start with like a thing like this. We'll just start moving. We'll start moving our feet and like, yeah. Yeah, exactly. And we'll start checking out the breath and the movement of the body. Yeah. So let's settle in. Next time you pick up the right foot and give it some circles. Yeah. And while you're here, notice the other leg. See if your knee is locked. If your knee is locked, then bring the awareness of the body. See what the hips are doing. And change the foot. The ankle circle, go the other leg. Yeah. Just open up that foot. Noticing how the other leg and hip are stacking up. So let's let that foot go and change foots. Supporting the body with the right leg. Haha, you guys tricked me into preparing for our peak pose. That's funny. Okay. So still staying with that strong right leg here and making sure we're not locking the knee. A lot of yoga teachers say don't lock the knee a different way. They say pull the top of your knee up. It didn't make a lot of sense to me until I heard someone say don't lock your knee. So whatever it takes to lift your quads up just a little and pull your knee forward. All right. So letting that foot go, let's give them a little shake. And let's now bend the knee joint. Just do some gentle. Everybody's balance is looking pretty good today. If that feels right, give it a little hip circle too. Okay. Oh, everyone's balance. Okay. Now the other way, if you can. I need to hang on this way. Okay. And then when that feels complete, come back to the other leg. Switch legs, stand up nice and straight. Settle in, rocking, and then pick up the knee. First, bend the knee joint. Yeah. Something's likely to be different for me. This one's like, hey, how are you so different? So then, when you're ready, actually, like right here is where I need to be. So when you're ready, yeah, give it some hip circles. Maybe we don't have as much balance on this side. I don't. Alright, so when you're ready, let that go. Come back to center and let's just give our legs a shake because they did some work. Okay, so before we bring it into the shoulders, let's move here and let's just do some hip circles. Yeah. And then change directions. Shoot, I'm starting to get hot already. What about you guys?
Oh, well, the room's warm.
Oh, should I turn the temperature down? I didn't notice.
I don't know. It's fine with me. I'm menopausal. There's no judging by myself.
Yeah, well, it feels like it's 1,000 degrees to me too. Okay, so let's bring it up the body into the trunk and like see if we can do some rib circles. And so we're trying to move the ribs if we can. Yeah, in circle. Let's see if you can. May I touch you? Okay. So see if you can breathe into the sides and the back all at once. Yeah. All right. And then when you move, isolate the movement here. Like,
I don't know what that means.
it's not in your shoulders, it's happening under your shoulders. See if you can, yeah. Now it started to rotate a little bit. I have a little lift going. Can you feel it? Does it feel any different?
I can hear.
Maybe I'm like loosening it out of the,
Well, you do have like
like an
25,
archaeologist.
26, okay, it's an even number. You have 26 joints or something that are being affected by what's happening here, so they're probably all. And we are oiling up them, oiling them up. Increasing synovial fluid. All right, that's good. Shoulders, yeah. Oh, crap. 6 minutes of video. Happening. My first time it kept turning off.
Oh no.
Yeah. All right, other direction if you haven't already started. All right. So let's bring something in for the hands now. Let's bring the arms all the way out, yeah. And just in whatever way feels good to you, bend the wrists and the fingers. And maybe even incorporate, yeah, like changing what the fingers are doing. Moving around all of the little bones in the fingers and everything that's attached to them. All right. So let's let go of that movement and just spread our arms wide and be like move your arms forward a little. Yeah, maybe middle. Perfect. Exactly right there. And then maybe up a little bit if you have that available. Yeah, is that available to you? See if you can like stretch your wings a little bit out. Yeah, like use your middle finger to kind of. Lou, can you move your arms forward a little bit?
Oh, sure. I thought.
Yeah, exactly. I think I'm a straight line. I don't know if I really am a straight line. But see if you can make a straight line between your fingers. Yeah. So we're working essentially isometrically right now. We're holding our arms up and we're also stretching at the same time. Let's take another breath here. Let's take actually a nice big breath into the belly. And then if the arms want to do something for a breath or two, go ahead and just do whatever it is the arms want to do. And then we'll bring our arms overhead. And reach. Exhale, hands together, heart center. Pause here with hands at heart center. Knuckles touching sternum. Inhale. Imagine the inhale traveling up from the feet all the way through the crown of the head. Exhale. Traveling down the body, out through the feet. Inhaling in this fashion to the crown, exhaling to the feet. Say to yourself, I am, as you inhale to the crown. And as you exhale to the feet, say to yourself, here. Inhale to the crown, I am. And exhale to the feet, here. One more time, inhale to the crown, I am. And exhale to the feet, here. And one more time. Maybe you can feel your hands heating up. Letting that go now. Gently let your hands float down to your sides. At ease. Bring the awareness now to any sensations you may be feeling in the palm of the right hand. The whole right arm, all the way up to the shoulder. And then bringing awareness now to the left hand, any sensations you may be experiencing. Left hand, left arm, all the way to the left shoulder. And then letting that go, your body wiggle. See how you're doing. Okay, so we're gonna do another warming up thing. And when I was thinking about how to do this, I thought I would offer you the wall. So to begin with, I just wanna say you're welcome to try this at the wall. I don't know if anybody need it based on what I was saying before, but if you do, let's see, so you can see me. If you want to go to the wall, that would look like this. I think you can see me. That would look like just standing against the wall and like finding a butt support that's not pressing in too much. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna inhale and stand up on our toes while lifting our arms, and exhale, come down. Inhale, reach, stand up, and exhale, come down. Inhale, arms up, and exhale, come down. Let's do that 5 more times on that. Inhaling, reach, and exhale, gently come down. Trying to keep this movement happening with the breath. When you come to the end of number 5, come down to a neutral standing position. Maybe come back to your mats actually. When you come to the end of number 5, come back to your mat and take a moment to just recenter, inhaling up from the feet through the crown and exhaling back down through the feet. And then we'll find Tadasana, a bit more of an active standing. So our feet are about hip width apart, just so that they're roughly under our femur heads. And then with the tops of the knees actively engaged, which might seem challenging, but bring your awareness to the tops of your knees and see if you can lift them. And if that feels impossible, don't worry. It felt impossible for a long time for me too. So. And then begin to be aware of your pelvis. And feel how your pelvis is related to lifting up your knees. a super weak side that I can really feel the difference. Like one of them doesn't even turn on. So yeah, like this one's going, ew, go to work. All right. So then bring the awareness to that area in between your pelvis and your ribs. There's a lot happening here. You've got like a cylinder of musculature holding us up.
Well, maybe you do.
Okay, well, we have a cylinder of what? Soft blankets holding us up, barely holding us up. All right, something is holding you up, and I will show you. So put your hands like here-ish, and inhale, and just feel what your body does. And don't try and trick me by breathing all with your chest, friend. I know you have something there.
A bunch of creaky protests.
Right. Protest signs. Like leftover protest signs.
Yeah,
With
so
no
many.
wedges, right?
A bunch of C-section scars.
Oh, yeah.
And staples.
Chicken bone. I don't know. Okay, so let's let that go, and let's just breathe into our hands on our belly. Bring your hands to your belly, and just breathe into your hand, and see if you can breathe equally into your hands, and at the same time into your back. It's kind of challenging. It might feel sort of weird because it's not a natural movement. Like we're not usually. It's an exaggerated movement. How's that feel? So and you can use your hands to continue to do this if you like. You can move them up or you can let them be by your side, whatever you're feeling in the moment. But let's move that up in the body and see if we can feel this. Actually, it might be beneficial to move. Like, see if you can feel it with the palm. Yeah. And as you breathe, feel the ribs expanding. The ribs have kind of a shape like the fingers do right here, like they're all going around. They're all going around, and they all have these tiny muscles between them that want to open a little bit. They want to elongate when we breathe as the ribs expand. And that happens all the way around the body. Oh, one more fun fact. The lungs, are closer to the back body than they are to the front body. So you can almost feel yourself breathing, like if you stick your hand back there, you can almost feel the lungs doing the work, you know? But that was a digression. I digress. So coming back around. Let's let this breathing pattern go. And we'll come into Tadasana, which is feet spread a little bit apart, like roughly right under where the femur bone hits the pelvis. And in Tadasana, our hands are generally forward, and our spine is nice and tall. And people who are used to practicing Iyengar yoga might have a really correct posture. Like I see with you. But people who are not Iyengar yogis can just let their shoulders fall where they're falling, okay? For now. But we are keeping in touch with what our knees are doing so that we're not tipping forward in our body. Actually, let's tip forward in our body and see what that feels like. Yeah. And then let's tip back a little bit in our body. Yeah. And then come back to what feels like center. And let your quadriceps, your thighs be on, whatever version of on is for you. And let your breath be contacting as much as possible, all four sides, front, back, left and right. And then one more thing for the breath. See if you can notice what the collarbones are doing here. Let the collarbones lift a little on the inhale. And now bring your awareness to your shoulder blades, your scapula, and see if you can bring them close and then let them relax. Bring them close and then let them relax. Do this about 5 times. Bring that close, bring them close and let them relax. Nice. And then when you come to the end of number 5, come back to what feels like center. And then let us pay some attention to our neck. So to begin with, let us look up and down. And let's keep our eyes open and use our neck to just look up and down. Just looking up and looking down. And again, let this be as gentle a movement as your neck requires. And then when that feels like enough, come back to center. How's everybody doing?
Okay.
Okay. So, where are we? 21 minutes. Okay. So we're gonna, I am a slow yogi, guys. That's how I do. All right, so we're gonna tip the head over to the right, and we're continuing to have active hands and arms here. Once you get settled into where the head wants to go, see if the left shoulder wants to be a little heavier. Might change things a little bit. And then let's take a breath. Exhale the head back to center. Take some shoulder rolls. Like maybe 3 back, 3 forward. And then we're gonna tip the head to meet the left shoulder. Hello, neck. Sigh out of your exhales if you'd like to. Adding the vibration of a sound actually adds an element of release and brings a little bit more of the parasympathetic nervous system into what's happening. So when that feels like enough, take a big breath, and on the exhale, come back to center. And then we'll bring some shoulder circles in. Yeah, give it some more slips. Oh, yeah. I don't know about you, but those horse slips got me sensations all the way down my arms. Livens up all kinds of nerves. So let's find something to do with your arms that feels good right here. For me, it's kind of swimming into a one-shouldered thing. Is your neck hurting?
My neck's always hurts. Acupuncture that went terribly
Oh.
wrong 5 months ago.
Oh, I see.
Now it's still, nerve is damaged.
Okay. What can we do to help you be more comfortable? Are you just getting tired?
No, I'm just careful with it on that side.
Okay.
Twinges.
Okay. So we don't need to do anything different right now. Okay. All right, so what we need to do is, my body's all, do this. Okay, so that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna inhale our arms out. And then we're gonna exhale in and give ourselves a hug. We'll do a pattern of these. We'll do some movement first. We'll inhale again. Dynamic movement or whatever. Exhale, hug. And I'd like to offer a sound, the sound of yam for the heart. Yam. Inhale out. This time we don't need to yawn, we'll just come back in. And then find where our elbows are. Stack them roughly on top of each other. Lift the elbows. And bring the elbows down. Yeah. Let's do 2 or 3 of these. Beautiful. So this time let's inhale out. Exhale, arms the other direction. And a hug, and then find where the elbows are aligned. And then lift. Inhale. And exhale, bring them down. Inhale, lift. And exhale down. Inhale, lift. And exhale down. Beautiful. Okay. Let's inhale, we'll bring the arms out. And exhale, bring them down to the sides. And then let's just wiggle those babies out. All right, whatever kind of wiggle you need to get that wiggle happening. Yeah, and then find the corners of your mouth and lift them. Okay, so keeping track of the time, let's see, how do I want to do it? Okay, I think here's how I want to do it. Let's come up to the top of our mat. We're going to inhale our arms overhead. Exhale. Oh wait, no, I changed my mind. That was really good. Practice time. Okay, we're gonna move into like one sun salutation, but we're gonna move through 3 rounds of Surya Namaskar, which just looks like this. So we'll do that first, and then we'll do some forward bend. So how's everybody slow? No, we're gonna step back into downward facing dog.
Oh, got it.
So we're gonna start at the top of our mat, but because if I stand all the way over there, I'm like giant boob central. So
Nothing wrong with that. Success.
maybe I'll be here. Okay. So let's find our Tadasana again, mountain pose. Inhale to the crown, I am. Exhale to the feet here. Inhale to the crown, I am. Exhale to the feet, grounded. Inhale to the crown once more, I am. And exhale to the feet, ready. With the next inhale, we'll bring our arms overhead. And exhale, hands together, heart center. Inhale, arms overhead. And exhale, hands together, heart center. You can do it however you want. This is just how I like to do it. Inhale, arms overhead. And exhale, hands together, heart center. Pause here for a moment to become aware of the feeling between the palms of the hands. Thumb knuckles pressed against the sternum. And with the next inhale, we'll bring arms overhead. And then we'll bend our knees slightly. And exhale into a very easy bent knee forward bend. You might even like your blocks. So that all we need to do is be aware of our back body here. Knees are soft. Head and neck are in line with spine. We're breathing into our belly and our back body at once. Okay. So, on the next inhale, we are going to lift up and put our hands like above our knees. We're going to make an L shape, a 90-degree angle. With our head and neck in line with our spine. Our knees are mostly straight. Our hands are just kind of here to show us where to be. They're not really holding on. So without pushing. And then exhale back into our forward fold. Okay, so let's see. I'm looking to see what props we all have. Okay, so we're gonna step back. Okay, into a lunge. Steph, you might prefer you have 2 blocks. I'm gonna give you another one. Actually, I'll give you one of mine. Yep. Okay. So you can have 1 block on the side of each foot. And so in this lunge, let this be whatever lunge your body has available to it. And see if you can keep your knee on top of your foot. So if you want to go deeper, move your back foot back instead of moving your front knee forward. Yeah, there you go. There you go. That's safer for your knee joint.
Is our heel up or is our heel
Heel
down?
up. Yeah, let's have, our hips are square here.
Okay.
Okay. So then now let's straighten the front leg. Yeah. And whatever the back heel is doing, mine meets the floor, but that's not so for everyone. Whatever your back heel is doing, just keeping a square hip. So keeping the hips facing front. And so if the front knee doesn't straighten here, that's okay. That doesn't matter. We're just stretching it. Okay. Excuse me. So when that feels complete, let's come back down into the lunge. We're just going to pause here for a second. Let's actually go lower. Let's put the knee to the floor now. So we're probably going to need to scoot back a little bit because we want to keep the ankle roughly 90 degrees. So now we're getting a little bit deeper. You might not need your blocks. You might still need them. Whatever works for your body. And then pull back. And this time, blanket underneath. Better? Okay. This time, pull your front foot back up on the heel and see how that changes the sensation. Oh, yes, yes, yes. Really keep an eye on what your hips are doing. Keep your hips square if you can. And then let's lunge forward one more time. See if you can roll a little bit forward on the knee now. And access a little bit more of the front of the thigh. Those are the hip flexors. Yeah. Okay. So when that feels complete, we're going to move gently back through downward facing dog. So for me, I need to help my leg back. So we're gonna head to all fours, pause here for a minute. We're gonna reconnect with our straight spine, head and neck in line with spine. Tuck the toes. Inhale, and on the next exhale. Now let the knees stay bent at first. And pedal the knees, pedal the feet rather, bending one knee at a time. And then when you're ready, come back to center, both feet on the mat. And maybe, let's see. Are you over it, Steph? Is that why you're moving back? Wrist is a little left. Okay, so I was gonna suggest some things that might help make your wrists feel different. So walk your hands forward one more hand length and then move them out a little bit. Maybe that's exaggerated, but, and then see if you can imagine bringing your elbows toward each other. Does it do anything for you? So that it's more like that. Okay. Does it do anything for you? Are the hands
hurting me?
Okay. Well, hey, if that's not it, go for it. Let's everybody come back to child's pose. Or let's everybody come into child's pose rather. We'll take a rest. Rotate your wrists. Take a rest here. Let the back body find some space. Creating a little distance there. The hip meet. Letting the shoulders open a bit. Resting. Let's take a few more breaths here. If the head has been turned, find an exhale and turn the head the other direction. And then when you're ready, find an exhale and come back to all fours. Just for a moment. So if your wrists are over it, is this available to you, Steph? Like holding your hands like this for a minute while we're here? Okay, try that for a minute. Just rest on the pads of your fingers. Take a breath. Extend your spine, including the top of your head. And then tuck your toes. We're gonna move through downward facing dog, but you don't have to do it if you don't want to, Steph. Okay, you can stay in all fours or you can go back into child's pose. Okay, so inhale, exhale, lift up the hips. And then you can stay here for a few breaths or you can come back into all fours. And we're going to bring the left foot forward into a lunge. So I want to show you that this is not a glamorous operation for me. I need to move through all fours to do this. I see you guys stepping through like pros. I got none of that available too. So Steph, you might want to bring your foot forward closer to your hand. Yeah. Okay. So last time we started with a high lunge. So why don't we start with a high lunge, okay? And yeah. stuff that looks okay for you, but you had blocks last time. Are you okay?
Mhm.
Yes, blocks are good.
Okay.
Blocks make a huge difference.
Yeah, blocks are the greatest. So take a breath or two here, and then when you're ready, straighten the front leg and pull back. And while you're here, remember to let your head and neck be in line with your spine. Yeah. And then when you're ready, bend the front knee, come back into a lunge. And this time we are going to move through, we're going to move into putting the knee on the ground. So you might like to walk your back foot back a little bit. Sandra, I'm sorry, I'm like, yeah, and then so you can lean forward a little bit and still keep this angle.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Okay, there you go. So push a little bit into your hip openers. We're all in a different place here. And then when that feels like enough, come back, do the similar movement. Only lift up. Hey, wait a minute. I did this already. Are we on the same leg?
I think so, but
Yeah.
it's good
Okay,
training for us.
That's not what I meant. I meant for us to do the other leg. Okay, that's fine. So, I really want us to do the other leg. So let's come back. Let's pause here. Let's pause here in Hero, if that's available to everyone. Are your feet hanging off the back?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. This is available to you with your with the front of your feet down?
It is the metatarsal arch stretch that I love.
What you're doing right now, you mean?
Well, yeah, because it stretches the arch of your
Oh,
foot.
okay.
But I will do what you want us
No,
to do.
no. I see what you're doing, and I'm like, okay, let's try it her way. That's a little bit extreme for me, actually, but
It's
it
pretty
probably,
extreme.
if I did this every day, it would solve my plantar fasciitis, wouldn't it? Because I can feel my tendon like going.
It actually
Hello.
takes some pressure off my knees too.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
So
And that's sweet. Bring the
Ice,
ground up to me
Epsom salt.
and Epsom salts.
Yeah.
That's sort of yoga too, isn't it?
It kind
It's
of
the
is.
self-care portion of yoga. Okay, so let's untuck our toes if our toes are tucked, and let's whack our feet a little. So since we somehow got onto the wrong leg because I got mixed up, let us do a right leg forward lunge, which is where I meant to go last time. And so we're gonna start high. My intention was to go through one side and the other of a sun salutation, and that's where we're going. So find your high lunge, and then pull back, straighten the right leg. Keep your hips square here. Oh, yes. Yes, Mama. And then when you're ready, find an exhale. Come back into your lunge. We are really aiming our left knee down for the mat, so you might want to scooch your back foot forward a little bit, back, yeah. And then you can lay down the top of your foot, or you can keep your toes tucked, whatever works for you. Tuck your toes, we can move more into the hip flexor. And then next we're going to straighten the front leg and pull back into the hamstrings and the back of the leg. We're lifting the toes of the right foot. And And then once more, coming into a lunge. A breath or two. Pull back once more. And then when you're ready, help the leg back. And then pull back into child's pose. Rest the neck. Rest the shoulders. Rest the breath. Forehead can be on the mat. Or if you prefer, head can be turned. Arms can be extended or beside you or underneath you. Take a breath and turn the head if you haven't already. And let's, when you're ready, find an exhale. Come back into all fours. So we're going to do one more downward facing dog. And then we're going to walk our feet forward to meet our hands. Okay? So inhale, and if you are not feeling the downward facing dog because your wrists don't want to do that, just make your way to standing, okay? So if you would rather make your way to standing without down dog, go ahead and do that. Otherwise, inhale, exhale, downward facing dog, and then walk your feet forward to meet your hands, and you can maybe lift up on your fingertips, bend your knees a little bit, but then find a forward fold. Give your back body one nice stretch. The stretch that works for your body. Did you get a good stretch? If your low back's not feeling it, if there's anything pinchy going on, come back up into standing and we'll straighten that out. Because I have a pinching. When you're ready, inhale up into standing. Exhale, hands to heart center. And then let's just have a little wiggle. I guess that was kind of a lot. And then let's have a marching in place with the breath at your own pace. My own SI joints are asking for this right now after all of that, so that's what we're doing here. We're just doing some magical SI joint work. While you're breathing here, we have a real opportunity to breathe into and open our heart a lot with our hands on our hips. So take a couple big breaths, really think about like opening everything you can in the front and the nose. I'm getting tired. Okay, so let's let that go. And we're going to practice tree pose. So if you're getting tired, you might like to pull up a wall. You might like to try this with a block. So what we're going to do to get into tree pose is we'll do it on the right first. We'll lift up our heel. Open the hip, bring the heel just to the ankle to settle our hips in, and then bring the foot up to wherever it goes on you. So if you bring it up above the foot, up above the knee. Just be careful of your knee joint. It can also rest on your block if your body doesn't want to work that hard, but you still want to take the shape. Okay? Because if you take a block, you can, but it needs to be closer.
Oh, closer to your.
Yeah, I wasn't doing it quite right when I was showing you just now. Let's see. It needs to be like, yeah. So you can, so your foot can be still contacting your body.
I see.
Um,
I've never done that with a block before. It's kind of
yeah,
nice.
if you use a block, it just gives you something different to practice in the pose. So take a few breaths here in your version of tree right now. Arms can be by your side if you'd rather. Or up, or overhead, or here. Whatever works for you. Okay, so let's take one more breath here. Exhale. Close the hip, bring the foot back down. Move your block over to the other side. Place the block right next to your foot if you're using a block, and then breathing up from both feet, settling into the hips. Lift up the left heel, open the hip, and then lift the foot to where it's going to go for you. It might just go to the ankle. It might go below the knee. For me, it's below the knee. And then you might keep your hands here, or you might do something different, more challenging, or in other words, you can keep heating this up if you want to, or you can start cooling it down with this if you want to. We have about 8 more minutes left in class, so beautiful. See if you can. I think it's just your pants are doing something different. I don't know if it's your body doing
My pants are falling off.
Your pants want to
Naked
be
tree
the roots, huh? Naked tree pose. All right, so let's take one more breath here, and we'll come back down. Foot comes to the mat, hip closes, and then let's give the legs some wiggle. And let's take one last Tadasana. And just breathe. Inhaling up from the earth through the crown of the head. I am. Exhale to the feet. Here. And then I'll have you make your way down onto your back. We'll come right down into constructive rest with feet on the mat and knees up. And we're going to move into Shavasana, into Shavasana from here. So you might want to have what you want for Shavasana close by. So we're going to come back into constructive rest on your back. Feet on the mat, knees up. Let's bring a little windshield wipering for the knees, a little back and forth action. Whatever kind of back and forth with knees, with feet wide, with feet close. Whatever your body's asking for right now. Next time you find a really good spot, go ahead and stay there for a few breaths. Maybe 3 breaths. You might consider opening your arms. Yeah. Find yourself a little chest opener here. that feels complete, find an exhale, come back to center. Pause for a moment. When you're ready, find an exhale to gently lower the knees back to the other side. Whichever way they haven't already stretched. Arms up and wide. Breath occupying every inch of this body, this precious body, lying on the earth. When that feels complete, find an exhale, bring the knees back to center, and then bring knees to chest, wrap arms around knees, give yourself a hug. Take one big breath here and let it out with a sigh. And on the next exhale, gently bring feet down to the mat and make your way into your version of Shavasana. Our final pose, our final relaxation pose. Lying flat on your back. Knees can be extended or over a bolster. You might like to have a blanket over you. And you might like an eye pillow. Bringing the awareness to the body lying on the earth. Awareness of the breath. Imagine now the breath traveling up through the left foot, all the way to the crown of the head, and then flowing down the right side of the body on each exhale. Inhale, breath flows in through the left foot, out the crown of the head, and down the right side of the body. Inhale, left foot, and exhale, right side. In this rich and fertile place of relaxation after your practice, bring to mind an intention you have for today's practice, something that you hoped you might gain today. And see it now as true and happening in this moment. Find any images now, or sounds, or smells from this intention happening now in this moment. And let this image be planted on the altar of your heart, the most fertile ground for nourishing your intention. Inhale, breathing into your intention, your heart. Now becoming aware once again of the body lying on the earth. Let the next inhale travel up through the left foot, all the way to the crown of the head, and out the right side of the body. And this time, let the next inhale travel in through the sole of the right foot, all the way up through the crown of the head, and out to the left. For balance. Become aware once again of fingers and toes, hands and feet. Bring some movement into wrists and ankles, and when you're ready, find an exhale. Bring knees to chest. Give yourself a hug of gratitude for your practice today. And then when that feels complete, roll over onto one side. Pause here for a moment in a fetal position. Let all your parts come back into one place. And when you're ready, find an exhale. Press the top hand into the earth and press yourself into a sitting position. Where we'll close with hands at heart center. Palms pressed together, knuckles of the thumbs on sternum, eyes soft. Let us inhale and we'll exhale the healing tone of Om. You have my deepest gratitude. Thank you for being here today. I really appreciate it.
Mr.